Hello, and this is Jay Leon doing some tutorials on beginning sailboat racing. And today we're going to talk about a simple race course. This is the simplest of all race courses, and there are many variations, but we're just going to talk generally about how a sailboat race course is laid out. So let's imagine that the wind is going this direction, and of course there's going to be a starting line, and the starting line often looks like this, where there's a committee boat. We'll call it RC, and there's going to be a flag on that boat. So oftentimes it's orange, and there's a buoy, and this makes the starting line. The starting line is between that flag and the buoy, and the race committee is going to try to set that line so that it is as close to perpendicular to the wind direction as possible. And in almost every case, the first leg of the race course is straight up wind, and so the first mark is some distance straight up wind, and we call this the windward mark. Some people call it the weather mark. Some people call it the top mark. But either way, it's the one at the top of the race course. It's to windward, or towards the weather. And so the first mark is to windward of the start. And we almost always go around these marks this way, leaving the mark on the port side of your boat. So you start here. You can't sail straight into the wind, of course, so you have to tack, 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 and then go around the windward mark. And then down here we have the leeward mark. And oftentimes, I guess I put an extra E in there. That's only one E, I think. But leeward, leeward, sometimes we call this the bottom mark. And it's going to be down at the bottom of the race course, and so you sail downwind and you go around the leeward mark, and again you leave it to port, and then quite commonly you'll come back upwind and finish again at this line. In some cases the race committee will set another line out on this side of the boat, and this will be the finish. And so that's your basic race course. Sometimes the start line or the finish line, or the start line and the finish line, are restricted, and you're not permitted to sail through the start or finish line unless you are starting or finishing. So in some cases, when you're coming back downwind, you have to go around the start-finish line on your way to the leeward mark. This is just generally a rule set up by the race committee to make it easier for them to keep track of who's finishing, and also to keep the boats out of the way of the people who are finishing. So one thing to ask when you're looking at a race course is the starting line or the finish line restricted? And if so, then when you're sailing downwind, you need to avoid the start-finish line. So go around one end or the other on your way down to this leeward mark. So there's your race course. It's often called a windward-leeward race course. And there are some variations, but this is the kind of simplest type of race course. Thank you.